Could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy.
Zoe, my pleasure to finally meet you. Band-Aid's an amazing movie. I just saw it.
Thank you.
San Francisco, California. I mean, what do you love about this part of the world, and do you have any memories from here?
Oh, I love San Francisco. I was just here a year ago, and I always like to eat my way through this town. There's something about also bread. A year ago, at least, bread was really having a moment in San Francisco, and I was just carbo loading. But my dad is actually from this part of California, and so I feel like my family has a lot of history here. So I always like coming back.
Awesome. And speaking of food, I mean, I got to say, I'm a fellow foodie too, and I love that pizza moment in the movie where you guys are eating pizza from your harmonica holders. And where did that come? That was a brilliant idea. Where did you pick that up from somewhere?
I didn't pick it up from anywhere. It came from the depths of my imagination. I honestly don't know where on earth it came from, but I think, it's a great hands-free pizza eating device.
And you take a little jab at Blues Traveler and John Popper. Did you hear anything back from him?
No, haven't heard yet. I'll keep you posted.
All right. And, but it's all part of the karaoke, right? As you call it, being in a band is sort of like a therapy for this couple, and it's, trying to stay together amidst troubled times. And, I love it. But I mean, it's a film, because I'm in a long relationship myself, married for over 15 years.
Wow.
And, it's why do couples stay together? And not all of us can be in bands. So how do we do it? Or what are your takeaways, or, talk about that subject a little more?
Well, obviously the couple in this film chooses to work through their issues through music, but I think a lot of the themes that are explored in the film are pretty universal in terms of what conflicts so many people face in relationships. And I think in some ways, I guess my advice is to not try and necessarily change your partner to be more like you, but to sort of distill your differences and learn to bridge them in whatever way you can.
Yeah. Well, the movie kicks off, and it's the dialogue is, that's my dream dialogue. I love, the jabs back and forth, and it reminds, I think that's part of the longevity of my relationship, is that we know, any communication sometimes is good communication, and if we're taking shots at each other, that's okay. I think that, where does that become a problem is, when there's a lack of understanding, and I think that a lot of it is based not just on the person, but like you say, the gender.
Yeah.
And Susie Essman comes in and she really lays it all out. And it's guys need to just look at that scene and have this. They need to buy this movie later on and just have the Susie Essman scene in their book every time there's a problem. But Curb Your Enthusiasm, love her in that. How did you connect with her, to get her in this movie? Because she's just perfect too.
She's amazing. I obviously have been a fan of hers for so long, but I hadn't really seen her do that much dramatic work. But I was excited to give her the opportunity to, because I feel like so often, especially comedians, can really go there, but often get boxed into one thing. So I went through Susie. I didn't know I went through the normal channels. I went through her agent, and she luckily responded to the material, and she's just amazing in the movie.
Yeah, you did know a fair amount of people in this. I got to believe how touching that must be to have some of your friends, jump in this movie. And of course, Adam just jumped right in after a phone call, I hear.
Yeah.
But talk about some of the other people that you're, so grateful to have here, and the things that they did to come out for this film.
Yeah, it was so special. Basically, the entire ensemble cast are my friends, and so many people that I've worked with and have remained really close with. So, obviously, cast members from my show Life in Pieces, Colin Hanks and Angelique Cabral came, and Chris D'Elia, who I was on a show called Whitney with, and Brooklyn Decker and Mahandro Delfino, who I was on a show called Friends with Better Lives with, Jesse Williams, Hannah Simone, who was on New Girl with. There was just it just felt like what was so nice about it was that it really did feel like friends hanging out more than people coming to work, and I think that's kind of the best way to make art if you can.
Yeah. It's like it's kind of like a support. You have this like mini support group while you're filming, and also the all-female crew. Very supportive, especially during the nude scenes, and it's always makes it more comfortable. I was going to ask if anybody tried to be an imposter and dress up like a female to be in this crew like bosom buddies.
No imposters. No, and the men who we did work with as executive producers, one of whom was my husband, were all super respectful, and really were so excited about this opportunity to create all of these positions for women where they're generally not given them. So I think everyone was just on board.
Yeah, I'm a big champion for that. I think that it's not about quantity, it's about quality of positions. And I see a lot of times like everybody will sprinkle women in all these even in Silicon Valley here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I always look at the front office bios and I see how many women are really up there in those key positions. And so how cool was it for you to make a step in that right direction? Because it's not just about this film, it's about people following your lead too.
Yeah, totally. It was so exciting, and it really exceeded all of my expectations. And I think not only was it like a very nurturing and patient and calm set, it was like super efficient and super productive. And I think like that's the biggest takeaway, is that like in so many positions where I feel like there are still these sort of misconceptions about what women can and can't do. Like, can women lift heavy furniture if they're in the art department, or can they drive the truck if it's full of all of this intense equipment? And the answer is yes. And I do hope that that this film sort of can serve as a template for other films in the future.
Yeah, and it's got like that. It's all this meaningful stuff, but then it's just funny as hell.
Oh,
like,
thanks.
I mean, Fred Armisen is like my idol, and forget about the fact he's amazing, like musician and drummer and comedian, but here he's just this awesome character, and it's written. You wrote this character. He's so cool. He's like the kind of character that he reminded me of like a light rock version of Alfred Molina in Boogie Nights. Remember that?
I've never heard that before. I like that.
You've saw the scene Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
He does this like snuggle therapy. Where did is that a thing? Is that for the?
It's not a thing that I've heard of. Again, I don't know where I pull these things from, but I think that maybe I did hear about something like in Japan where people, I don't know, hold you or something, or hug you and you pay them. Only in Japan.
Only in Japan. The other funny thing was like I saw this story, or you talked about you met Common the rapper at a Bed Bath and Beyond, and that was pretty funny. And then I'm like, I watched a movie, and all of a sudden you're going through your garage and you find these Bed Bath and Beyond coupons.
Bed Bath and Beyond is very meaningful to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about like your Bed Bath and do you have this huge love affair with Bed Bath and Beyond?
No, but like I think I grew up in Brooklyn, and like I don't know, in the 80s it was kind of like rough and tumble, and Bed Bath and Beyond, there's something about it when I go there, it feels so like safe, and there's so many like just amenities that could make your life easier, that I think like when I went there for the first time in college, because I'd never been there before, I was just like, oh my God, I got to spend more time in this place. It makes me feel good. Now I go there and I have panic attacks, but at the time, yeah.
That's like one brand placement. I don't know if you got any kicked down from
nothing.
Oh,
nothing. No, Papa John's, nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say Papa John's.
No.
And finally, Uber.
Nothing.
How would you do as I saw you get in an Uber pool the other day.
Oh my God.
But how would you do as an Uber driver? I mean, how long would you last?
Oh my! I would last half a day. I think I would probably give everyone 1 star and then just be done with it.
Yeah, but something that's opposite of 1 star is 5 stars, which I think the Dirty Dishes album will be.
Oh, thank you. It's available on iTunes and Spotify and Tidal, so you don't have any excuse not to get it.
What's a good like, is that for a road trip or just like hanging out and having some drinks? What would be a good setting to listen to the whole Dirty Dishes album?
Well, it's a full 16 minutes, so you better strap in. I don't know. I think driving in your car or listening to it on your iPad iPod when you walk down the street. People don't have iPads anymore. It's not 1996. On your iPhone. It's an album that can really be played anywhere. But I do think that the lyrics are fun, and so like less background music and more like something to actually like vibe to on your own, maybe.
Yeah, finally the authenticity is great, all the way down to the mugs.
Yes.
Your mugs. What was the bigger meaning of the mugs in the movie?
Adam like said that in an interview once, so now the mugs have become this like through line. I think that in creating the environment that the movie takes place in, I just wanted to make it feel as authentic and nuanced as possible, and so I put my own things in there to add specificity, and so those mugs were mine. They continue to be mine. But yeah, I mean, I think that is what kind of capturing this relationship in all of its authenticity in some ways required for me. There were those little sort of touchstones.